Welcome everybody. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody is home safe and well and healthy. Today's yin class is going to address our nervous system. Most of the yin classes do that anyway, but this is specifically to work on our Chinese meridians of the liver, which holds our anger and frustration, the kidney meridian, which where we hold anxiety and fear and worry. And so on the surface, we might feel and act as if we're doing just fine in this little pause in our life, but maybe deeper inside, we're feeling a little stress. And with that anxiety and worry, it's not healthy for us. So this class will maybe free up some of that energy, some of that worry, and help us to relax. If not just for this hour, maybe for the rest of the week. You can come back to this practice and find some little bit of peace of mind. So with that, in today's class, you're going to maybe get 2 blocks. So have 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can use a couple stacked books. Try that. You can roll up a blanket. You might want to have a blanket to sit up on or to pad your knees. If you're into music, I have a Spotify playlist. If you've got a Spotify account, it's called Wind Chimes and Water, which I practiced to, which was very soothing and relaxing. Or maybe you have your own music, or maybe you just like the quiet. So with that, we're going to start out in a seated meditation. So finding a place that feels comfortable for you. Maybe it's sitting up on your blanket. Depending on where you're at, you might lean up against a wall. You can have your legs stretched out straight in front of you. Your knees can be bent, whatever feels comfortable for you. And then once you've found that spot that feels comfortable, then just start to settle in and just let your hands rest wherever it feels right for you right now. Maybe you'll make a mudra with your index finger and thumbs, palms facing up. Or maybe just simply the mudra of resting your hands in one another. It's a mudra of calm abiding. And then just close your eyes. And notice your breath. As you start to turn your focus inward. Does your breath feel short, shallow? Is it choppy? Are you even remembering to take breaths? And when we experience stress and anxiety, our breath tends to become short and shallow. So just gradually begin to lengthen your breath in and out of your nose. Just finding a nice smooth breath rhythm that feels comfortable and feels right for you. Just become aware of your body in this space, noticing the air around you, noticing the texture of the clothing on your skin, noticing the feel of your hands wherever they might be resting, or your feet, your legs, your buttocks, what's making contact with the earth. And then begin to scan your body and notice how you feel. So what feels good? What might feel tight or tense? Just notice where you might be holding on to any tension. Let your shoulders be heavy. Face is soft. And just take these next few moments to breathe in and breathe out. And as we go through class, there's going to be these long moments of quiet, and I haven't forgotten you. The tape didn't end. It's all okay. Don't worry. Yin practice is a very quiet practice. It's very introspective. So once I get you into the shape, I'll pretty much remain quiet. And when you find that your thoughts are wandering, and that's what your mind is going to do, it's going to wander, just try to find something to anchor you back to the present moment. So using your breath as a tool for that works nicely. Maybe it's a mantra, maybe it's a sound. Go ahead and open your eyes if they're closed. And then just shrug your shoulders up by your ears. Really find any tension that you might be holding. And squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you. And then release them down your back. Maybe shake them out a little bit. If you'd like, you can stretch out your legs just for a moment. The knees got kind of tight. Get some circulation going. Come back. And then just bring your hands behind your head. Just interlace your hands ever so gently, and then just gently allow the chin to drop towards your chest. And then using the weight of the arms, the elbows, just to kind of come close to the other, and using that weight just to gently pull on the neck to stretch the back of the neck. And then release, and maybe lift your chin up towards the sky. And come back to center, and then maybe bring your right hand up to the left ear, and then draw your right ear towards the right shoulder. Just a gentle stretch of the neck. We hold a lot of tension in the neck and shoulder area. A lot of us do. Release, and do the other side. Just gentle pull, left ear towards left shoulder. Nothing big, nothing great, just a gentle stretch. And go ahead and release. And then bring your arms straight out in front of you and cross your right elbow over the left elbow. And see if you can intertwine your arms and maybe bring the palms together. If that isn't working, simply bring the forearms together, or maybe the backs of the hands, so wherever you can be. And then stretch your elbows out away from your shoulders, and then feel that stretch through the shoulders. Oh, one of the things I forgot to do was get rid of the telephone, so let go of any distractions that we might have. I'll have to do something in all those telemarketers. It's a practice of yoga too, when we let go of distractions. So go ahead and unwind and maybe shake out the shoulders. And we'll bring the arms out in front, left elbow on top of right this time. And same thing, just intertwining and bringing palms together or backs of the hands. Again, just feeling the stretch through the shoulders. And then go ahead and release, shake them out. And we'll move into the first posture. So this is one that you might want to have a couple blocks, and you can either sit on the blanket or you don't have to. But it's reclined butterfly, so you're going to come onto your back. So coming onto your back, knees are bent. You're going to bring the soles of your feet together and let the knees just gently drop open to the sides. And you might feel a really big stretch through the inner thigh, the groin muscle. That's the targeted area for this posture. And if it gets to be too much, you can put your blocks on the side of the thighs or knees to let the legs rest on. They can be up high. Or if you don't have blocks or books, you can actually use your fists to make fists and bring your arms down by your sides and kind of bring them underneath the butt a little bit, and then let the legs rest out, and that supports the legs too, and it takes some of that stretch out. So finding a place for you in this reclined butterfly. And we're going to hold poses today pretty much 3 to 5 minutes. Now mind the time. So now that you're in your reclined butterfly, I'm going to get rid of the phone. And I'm back. So noticing what you feel, the liver and kidney meridians are run along the inside of the thighs. And as I said, that's where we hold a lot of anxiety and worries. So if we can move some energy into that area, make us feel a little less stressed. I just have a couple readings that I might do as we hold some of the postures. And this one is called You Are Not Your Feelings. You are not your feelings. You just experience them. Anger, sadness, hate, depression, fear. This is the rain you walk in. But you don't become the rain. You know the rain will pass. You walk on. And you remember the soft glow of the sun that will come again. So sometimes it feels like the sun might not come back. Our world is certainly a different world. But this too shall pass. Coming back to your breath. Noticing what you feel in this posture. Focusing on where you feel the tugging, the stretching, the pulling. And the areas that we focus on, we send our energy there. Staying in the present moment, so just noticing where your thoughts might have gone and just check in with them and try not to put any particular significance into those thoughts and just let them drift away. Breathing smoothly in and out of your nose. Maybe allowing your out-breath to be just a little bit longer than your in-breath. So maybe you're breathing in 4 counts and you breathe out 5, and maybe there's a slight pause at the end of your out-breath. And it's a breath technique, pranayama, that helps to quiet and calm the nervous system. And again, just keeping a nice, smooth, rhythmic breath pattern. We have about 10 more breaths. Last 5 deep, smooth breaths. See if you can allow the legs, the knees to relax just a little bit deeper. And so from reclined butterfly, you're just very gently going to use your hands to bring your knees back up together and resist the urge to do anything other than bring the knees together. And pause, noticing what that feels like. And then walk your feet out towards the edge of your mat and let the knees prop against one another in teepee. And then just pause here. Again, we'll allow the posture that you just did, that shape, to now resonate through the body. So we're starting to notice the energy that's flowing through the body. So we take the time to enjoy these little rebounds from the posture. And our next shape that we'll take is a cat pulling its tail. So you're going to roll onto your right side. So rolling onto your right side, I'm going to prop your head in your right hand. Legs are going to go straight to start with. Use your left hand to kind of support you from rolling forward. And then maybe take the left leg out in front of you, and then bend the right knee back, grab a hold of it with the left hand, and then you're pulling on your foot, whatever you get a hold of. If you thought about it, maybe you have a strap or a towel, I forgot to mention that. If you can't grab a hold of your foot, you can use another prop to grab a hold of the foot. So whatever you get a hold of there, so you're feeling a stretch through the right quadriceps. If having your left leg out in front of you is too much, just bring it back straight or bent, whatever. Just the goal here is to feel that stretch through the quads. And we'll be only here in this cat pulling tail for 3 minutes. So settle in and find a place that you can hold the posture and relax. It's less intense to have your head propped up. You can also bring your head down if you'd like, feel a little bit more stretch. You can start to roll back onto your back a little bit as you hold the foot. And just notice what that feels like through the shoulders. So you can kind of experiment with these postures to find a place that feels right for you. So maybe you'd like to stretch through the shoulders, maybe just through the legs. So finding a spot that works for you. So cat pulling tail can be a little bit intense. So just breathe through what you feel. I have one more reading by Ralph Waldo Emerson. He said, "Write it on your heart that every day is the best day in the year. He is rich who owns the day, and no one owns the day who allows it to be invaded with fret and anxiety. Finish every day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. Begin it well and serenely, with too high a spirit to be cumbered with your old nonsense. This new day is too dear, with its hopes and invitation, to waste a moment on the yesterdays." All we really have is this moment right now. So we make the best of each moment, each breath. Cherish it, have gratitude for it. Almost there, I have about 30 more seconds. And go ahead and release, and we're going to roll onto the belly. So just roll all the way over onto the belly. bring your forearms together and rest your head on your forearms. So again, noticing that rebound or that resonance of the posture as we come out of it. Allowing yourself to enjoy what that feels like coming out of the posture. And then we'll just move on to the second side of cat pulling tail. So we're going to, from wherever you're at, without too much fuss, roll onto the left side, prop your head up in your left hand, maybe bring the right leg out. We're just going to bend the left knee back, grab a hold of it with the right hand, and then we settle in. Just a slight pull on those quads. If that's not enough of a stretch for you, you can always bring your arm down, start to roll your shoulders back, feel a bigger stretch, even a bigger stretch through the spine. So again, we'll be here for 3 minutes. So settle in, close your eyes. And with each exhale, trying to relax just a little bit deeper. So inhale, finding some peace. Exhaling, letting go of any stress, letting go of any worries, doubts, self-judgment. Coming back to your breath. Inhales and the exhales. Maybe taking that exhale a count longer. Maybe finding that pause between the inhale and the exhale. Quieting the mind. Halfway there. So maybe noticing is the body relaxed any amount more, or maybe you need to back out. So as we move in and out of the shapes, we play our edge, we go to that place where we first start to feel that tugging or the tension, pulling, or whatever area we're focusing on. And we settle in, we try to find stillness, we try not to fidget around too much. And then the magic in our yin is holding the postures for time and letting gravity and the time work the magic. And deeper interconnective tissue, the joints, our ligaments, our bones, are all react differently and need a different kind of stress than our muscles. So it's a different kind of pressure that allows the fascia to become more lubricated, to change its shape, to become stronger. And thus we become a little bit more mobile. We move with greater ease. We can get in and out of our other yoga postures a little bit more fluently, easily. Maybe with a little bit more grace. But know that that's different from day to day too. Oh, and we are finished with cat pulling its tail on this side, so go ahead and gently roll onto your belly. And we'll just, again, straighten out the legs, rest your head on your forearms, and we'll pause and let that posture, both sides now resonate through the body, noticing how that feels. Maybe noticing that kind of that surge of energy. It feels maybe cool or warm or tingly. So just noticing what feels different. And from being on the belly, we're going to move into our next posture, which is a stretch for the lower lumbar. So from on your belly, we're just going to bring your forearms out in front of you. Elbows will be more or less underneath your shoulders. Fingers will be gently spread wide. Press the toenail side of your feet into your mat or the floor. And then just gently give yourself a little pull isometrically with the hands on the mat so that it lengthens a little and gives us a little bit of space in the spine. So this is Sphinx. We're working on the lower lumbar spine. So for some of us this might be too much of a stretch. For others might not be enough, but we'll be in Sphinx for 3 minutes. You might want to even bring your pull on to opposite elbows, or you can bring your elbows to the floor, put your hands in prayer, and bring your thumbs to your third eye on your forehead to rest your head. Whatever position feels okay for you. And the head can be up, the head can drop low. You can make little gentle turns over the shoulders with your chin to one side of the shoulder or the other, just to whatever kind of movement you'd like to make. If you have a block, and you can always take your block or your book and you can bring it underneath your chest or your ribs and rest there. It helps take some of the pressure off. And don't be afraid to experiment with the props that we have or that you have to help you ease into a posture and be able to hold it without losing this rhythmic breath. So props either help us to get deeper into a posture or help us to simply hold the posture without a whole lot of stress or anxiety. Our goal is to get rid of the stress and anxiety, not to create it. So again, finding your breath. Maybe noticing sometimes in some of these postures, the shoulders might start to get a little tired. You might start to notice shoulders more. If you need to come in and out, just lower down a little bit and then come back. If it gets to be too much of a stress or pressure in the low back, you can walk your hands out further away from you, and then that lowers the chest and then takes some of that pressure off the low back. Otherwise, see if you can hang out. We only have about 5 more breaths or so in Sphinx. And from Sphinx, you can either stay here in Sphinx, or you can come out, or we can move into Seal, which is taking the fingers, kind of pointing them out to the sides, hands come out a little bit wider, and then just start to straighten the elbows, and that gives even a little bit more intensity to the low back. We're working our bones and our arms, so we're just using the arms as little props to hold us up. Building strength in the arms here. And we'll just take this seal posture, this shape, for a few more breaths. And just using your next exhale, just lower down nice and slow. You move in and out of the posture slowly. Move slow and then bring your forearms together and rest your forehead, or maybe turn your head to one side or the other, whatever feels right. And maybe move your hips from side to side, just gently bringing some movement back into that lower back area. And from the belly, you're going to bring your palms next to your shoulders, and then press up to hands and knees, and then all the way back into child's pose. And for the first part of child's pose, keep your knees together if that's at all possible. And then it allows the back to round a little bit more as we kind of counter out of that Sphinx posture. So for the first minute, knees together, and then we're going to take knees wide. So just noticing the release in the low back, coming into this child's pose. Again, it's that joy of coming out of the posture and noticing the area that you've just worked. If your child's pose is not speaking to you right now, if it bothers your knees, some of the things that you can do is you can bring a blanket and place it underneath or between your calves and the thighs to sit back on. That takes some of the pressure off the knees, or maybe you want to just come into coming onto your back and hugging your knees into your chest. Maybe that's where you need to be today. So for this last 2 minutes, see if you can take your knees out nice and wide, coming into a really wide kneed child's pose. And we'll settle in there for a couple minutes. So we start to feel, again, that stretch through the kidney and liver meridians. It's also feeling it through the hips. Yourself to relax. Enjoy this quiet. Maybe taking notice of the quality of your mind at this point. Maybe you're already feeling a little calmer, a little more relaxed. It doesn't take a lot of these yin postures to almost immediately start to feel a little calmer. That's the beauty of yin. About 5 more breaths. Just gradually and slowly come back upright from your child's pose. You're going to bring your toes together, curl your toes under, and we're just going to shift up to downward facing dog. So take a nice down dog, stretch it out, walk it out, just noticing how nice maybe the down dog feels. And then from down dog, if you haven't already padded your mat, you might want to take this just moment to pad your mat for your knees. So we're going to be lowering down to your knees. So lowering down to the knee, and then we're just going to walk or step your right foot forward between your hands. So yes, boys and girls, we are going to do some dragons. So we're only going to be in a dragon for 3 minutes though. So patting your knee, left knee is dropped, toes point back, or toes can be curled under. You decide what feels easier for you or better for you. We're going to start out, I'm going to give you 3 options. So the first option is to stay up in high dragon, so you'll maybe just resting your forearm on your right thigh, getting a stretch to the left quad, so you might even scooch back, let the hips sink. That's one place to be. Another place to be is to bring your hands on either side of your right foot. Maybe you have your blocks and you can rest your hands on the blocks. Try to really bring your chest down onto your thigh to bring some weight into the hips. We're just delicately resting our hands here. Another option is to take the right foot over to the right a little bit and maybe come down onto the forearms. So those are your three options for dragons. And we're going to be in dragon for 3 minutes. So maybe you'd like to start out with 1 minute here, move down to low, then to baby or whatever. So I will tell you when we've been someplace for a minute and then make a move or not. So with a high dragon, if you're there, you may feel a little bit of that stretch in the right hip. The right leg's working, as well as feeling a stretch through the left leg. So we're working the stomach and spleen meridians in our dragons. If you feel a little bit of stretch to the inside of the leg, it's again the kidney and liver. So wherever you're at, it's been 1 minute, so you might choose to stay where you're at, or you might make a move to make it either a little bit deeper, or maybe you need to make it a little less intense, depending on where you're at. So if you'd like, you can maybe bring the blocks down and rest into this one. Blocks on either side of the foot is a baby dragon. It's less intense. And then for the last minute, either choosing to stay where you're at or making a move. Maybe you move into the really low dragon, maybe you skip the blocks, maybe you, so you're scooching your right foot over just a little bit so that your torso can come down onto the inside of the right leg. Then you come down into the forearms and then feel a deeper stretch, a little bit more intensity. And breathing into it. See what you can do to quiet your mind, to tame your dragon. So maybe it's taking a nice deep breath in and on the exhale, opening the mouth and just letting it go. And then from wherever you're at, we're simply going to walk your hands back up. Curl your back toe, the left toe's under. We're just going to shift back enough to release the legs from our dragon, release the hips. And then take the right knee back to meet the left. We're on hands and knees, curl the toes under. We're going to shift back into downward facing dog. Again, just enjoying the down dog from being in dragons. It usually feels pretty good. And then from our down dog, let's just simply step the left foot up between the hands and move right into dragon on the other side. Get that going. And then remembering the three options. So either staying up in high dragon, or coming down to your baby dragon, or maybe you already want to move right into this nice low lunge with this low dragon. So you decide where you want to be. And I'll tell you the minute increments here. So you can keep that right toes tucked under or pointed back. Tucked under might feel a little less intense, so you can experiment with that. We're aiming to feel that stretch through the right quads this time. Maybe feeling it a little bit in the low back if you're up high. And so for wherever you're at, it's been 1 minute. You might choose to stay where you're at or move into another form of dragon. So maybe it's moving into our baby dragon. Really allow your weight to shift into that left thigh so that you can start to drop the hips and feel that stretch through the right quads. Breathing in peace and exhaling any stress. Breathing in and breathing out. Finding a place that you can relax and let go in this posture. You only have 1 more minute to go, so either staying wherever you're at or making an adjustment, making another move. So if you're in high or you're in baby and you want to move to low, you'll scoot your left foot over to the left a little bit. Maybe bring the blocks to the inside, or maybe you skip the blocks. And then you can move on down, maybe coming onto your forearms, maybe your elbows, and you're clasping the hands and resting your head and your hands. Maybe the left leg knee flares out to the left a little bit. So finding a place in your dragon that you can rest and relax. You've got about 5 more breaths. Notice where you're holding on to any tension. See what you can relax. All right, we did it. So bring your hands to the mat. Slowly start to walk your hands back till we release the legs. Your back toes are curled under. We're just going to release the hips and the leg. Notice that relief. And then bring the left knee back to meet the right. And I'm just going to take a few cat cows. So just taking, you guys have done cat cows 100 times and more. So just taking some movement for your spine. Any kind of movements. It can be circles around with your cats and cows, or maybe you just want to hang out in child's pose. That's okay too. So just a little bit of movement. And come back to a flat back tabletop, and we'll move into our next posture. We're going to, on our hands and knees, you're going to bring your right knee up behind the right wrist. You're going to scoot your right foot behind the left wrist, and you're going to sit down on your right hip. I'm going to move my blanket. So coming into swan, your right shin, I'm going to come this way so you can see me. Your right shin is going to be parallel to the short end of your mat, and then your thigh is parallel to the long end of the mat. The back leg can go wherever it feels comfortable. If you find that you're tipping to the right a lot, then bring your foot in closer to your groin. Or if you have knee issues, you might want to bring it in closer. So finding your swan, starting out nice and tall, take a deep breath in. And then exhale it out of your mouth. Just to settle in here. And from being upright in our swan, we're just slowly going to drape your torso over your right shin. So coming forward and then resting. Now, if you have your blacks or maybe a folded blanket or maybe you grabbed a bolster, whatever you can fold over your prop. So our focus is we want to feel something in the right buttocks, the right hips. We're going to be in swan for 5 minutes. So if you don't feel that you're getting a lot of sensation in your right hip, the right cheeks, then one of the things that you can do is take your torso and bring it almost to a 45-degree angle, or so that you're facing the knee, and then fold over, and you might feel a little bit more, or towards the foot, so you can experiment with that as to what might feel better. Making sure that you don't feel any pain in your knee. And after we've been in swan for a minute, if you'd like to take full pigeon, if you feel a better stretch in full pigeon, and in full pigeon you get a little bit of stretch through the other leg as well, you can take your left leg straight back behind you. So there's always places that you can go or stay. So it has been 1 minute. So settle in. See if you can relax your back leg. Let go of any tension that you might be holding on to in the glutes. Soften your face. Allow your shoulders to relax. Just check in with anywhere in your body that you might be holding on to any tension, and try and let that go. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathe in peace. Exhale stress. Breathe in love. Let go of any anxiety. This pause in our life has given us opportunities to maybe find time to do a lot of different things. And one of the things I found was a yin teacher who's Chinese, who lives in Scotland, and so she's doing classes from Scotland. That's quite lovely. She teaches both in English and in Chinese, so she'll give the directions, the cues to get into the posture in English, and then she goes into the Chinese, and it's at first it was kind of wild. It was so unusual, but after a while it's like it's kind of this meditation, listening to her, and I knew basically what she was saying, because she was saying the same thing in Chinese as she told to us, but it was kind of fun. And one of the other things I learned was about a symbol in Chinese for the word crisis. One of the symbols, or one of the parts of it, is opportunity. So there's two different parts to the symbol, and part of it means finding that opportunity. So I guess we can look at this pause and this change in our life right now as an opportunity. You have 10 more breaths. Notice what you can relax in this last several breaths. What can you let go of? What can you move into deeper? very, very slowly start to use your hands to come upright. Kind of lean to the right a little bit. And we're just going to swing the left leg out in front of you, followed by the right. Maybe rub the legs a little bit, maybe shake them out. Just pause, maybe close your eyes, noticing what that feels like. Maybe feel that tingling all the way from your toes up your right leg. And from here, we'll just simply move into swan on the other side. So we're just going to kind of lean to the left a little bit, take the right leg back behind you, bend the left knee in front of you. Same setup. Shin is parallel to the short end, thighs parallel to the long end. You can adjust your back leg wherever it feels comfortable. We'll start by sitting up nice and tall. And then once we are ready, then take a deep breath in. Exhale it out of your mouth. And then let's just start to drape the body over the shin of the left leg and settle in. So finding a place that you can settle in and relax in this posture. So the target is the left glutes, the left hip. Again, if you're leaning a little bit to the left, you can bring your foot in closer to the groin. If your hip's way up high, you can bring your hip up onto a blanket, folded blanket. So finding a place where you can settle into this posture. Quiet your mind. Come back to your breath. Noticing how this side might feel different than the right side. Maybe this hip feels tighter. So just noticing without judgment. If you aren't feeling a lot of sensation in the left hip and the left glutes, you're welcome to take the right leg straight back behind you, coming into full pigeon. Maybe that's where you feel the best sensation in this posture. And this is your practice. I'm just here to give you some suggestions. So relax your back leg. Notice if you're hanging on to any tension somewhere. Are you clenching anything? Is your jaw clenched? Squeezing your eyes closed. Where's your tongue? Relax your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Just do a full body scan. Just notice. What can you let go of? Where do you need to make an adjustment to feel a little bit more comfortable? Postures aren't all supposed to be super comfortable. There's quite a bit of discomfort in the postures, but no pain. So anything sharp or shooting electrical, we want to make adjustments and back out of. But for the most part, we're working at a scale of a 5, between a 1 and a 10, with 10 being super intense and 1 being nothing. We want to be around a 5. We have a couple minutes left. Take about 10 more breaths. And then very, very slowly, you'll start to use your hands to bring yourself back upright. Lean to the left just a little bit. Swing your legs out in front of you. And you close your eyes. Just pause and notice how both sides feel now that we've done both sides of swan, both sides of dragons. Without even opening your eyes, if they're closed, we'll move right into the next posture, which is caterpillar. So we're all set up for that with the legs straight out in front of you. Sit up nice and tall, and then just slowly start to fold forward. And then when you meet that place where you're not able to move any further, we'll settle in. So if you have blocks that you'd like to, or books to rest your head on, you can stack blocks. You can skip blocks and see if you can allow the legs to just simply relax. Let the feet flap open if that's what they want to do. Hands, palms facing up, and let your head drop. Should you have back issues, however, you might want to keep your back straight and just lean into the posture. So once you've found a place, and another option, depending on the space that you're in, you might want to take your legs up the wall. That's a very relaxing posture. Just scoot your buttocks up to the wall and let your legs go up and settle in. We'll be here for 3 minutes. Caterpillar posture is a stretch for the entire back body. So you notice what you feel along the backs of your legs, backs of your knees, your ankles, along your spine, your neck. And Paul Grilly, who's a yin guru, he's written a few books on yin, says that this posture is a really good one to prepare you for meditation. It's also a good posture if you're having trouble falling asleep at night, or if you are waking up at night and can't get back to sleep. It's a good one to try out. You can do it right in bed. It might help you to relax a little bit more and fall back asleep. Take 10 more breaths from wherever you're at. very slowly start to use your hands to come up nice and slow. The head will come up last. Bring your hands behind your back a little bit. And then lean into your arms. Let your shoulder heads roll forward. Let your head drop back. Good, and then make your way all the way onto your back. And you'll hug your knees into your chest to give yourself a nice squeeze. Bring your arms out to a T and let your knees just gently drop open to the right. Head turns to the left if that's okay with your neck. Take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale it out of your mouth. Engaging your belly just a little bit to draw the knees back up to center and then let them pass over to the left this time. Head to the right. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale it out of your mouth. Draw your knees back up to center. One more squeeze. Allow the legs to extend down onto your mat. Arms at your sides. Palms face up. To rest in your final posture, Shavasana. So settling in. Allowing your entire body to melt into the earth. Feel completely and totally relaxed. Allow your eyes to be heavy. Relaxing your jaw. Swallow to relax your throat. Release any tension in your shoulders. Let them be heavy. Sink towards the earth. Soften your belly, relaxing your hips, your legs, your feet. Let everything completely and totally relax. Just very slowly begin to deepen your breath. Start to bring some gentle movement back into your body, brushing your thumbs along your fingertips, wiggling your toes, circling your ankles, your wrists. Maybe a gentle movement of your head from side to side. And reach your arms up over your head. Give yourself a nice full body stretch from the tips of the fingers all the way to the toes. Big stretch. And then hug your knees into your chest one more time. Roll on to either side. Pause, using your arms to cradle your head. noticing and finding that sense of peace and calmness from your practice. And using your hand to press yourself up to a comfortable seated position right where we began. And then bring your palms together at heart center, pressing your thumbs to your heart. Bow your head, close your eyes. Take one last deep cleansing breath in through your nose. Audible sigh out of your mouth. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice. Have a great rest of your day, night, week, whatever that might be. And I hope we see each other in person really soon. Stay safe, stay well. Namaste.